Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. So I guess we'll just start with your name, your title, how you're kind of relevant to my story. And
Okay, sure. My name is Matthew Biehl. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. I currently work at CAPS. I'm on our crisis triage team for the university. I'm also working on training for a gambling certification. I believe for the certification for level 1, I really just need to add my hours up and submit it, and then I will receive the certification.
And what exactly is the certification?
The certification means that you've gone through a 30-hour training. It means you've passed the national license exam for gambling. That's about 200 questions, and you've then met with and done 100 hours of working with clients on gambling specifically.
Okay. And what has your experience been working with, the clients that are dealing with problem gambling compared to, traditional addiction?
With traditional addiction, both are very time sensitive. With traditional addiction, a lot of people have experienced some sort of negative effect to their drinking or their use, and whether family members know about it or friends, they're motivated for change, but their window is still pretty small. In gambling, a lot of things is called a hidden addiction. There's all this shame with the loss of money and how could you lose so much money, that the window is smaller. So a lot of people they want to change, they come in, but it's hard to get them to engage with multiple sessions. So that's what I'm experiencing with students or with in my private practice, is you get them for a little bit, but they kind of fade away.
Is that unique to gambling?
Yep.
Why do you think so?
I just think it's just that shame of the money. I've lost, I've talked to people that have lost hundreds to upwards of 10, 15, 20,000. So they just feel that shame on how I let this happen.
Right. Do you feel like the promotion of gambling has outpaced the treatment and education?
I think we see the advertisements and everything everywhere, and it's a good question. I do think we're always playing catch up with the treatment, that there's so many people that have the addiction that need help, and the resources are not always known. Funding is not always available, and they just don't know what to reach. They don't know that there's a 1-800 gambling number. They don't know that there's programs in the Colorado Coalition of Gambling exists that can even offer people free treatment. So just getting that message out to as many people and students as we can is really important.
Right, and I believe, are you the only staff member at CAPS that is going to have the certification?
I am currently the only one, but we're in communications with the president of the Colorado Coalition of Gambling. He just outreached me a couple days ago, offering a training for all of staff. So currently I'm the only one that's been working through the training, but hopefully I can get some other staff members that are interested in.
So you guys felt like this is something that is going to take more than one staff member?
Yeah, I think eventually it will, for sure. I think as more and more, like you said, with advertisement, more and more access to online gambling, as the iGambling might be coming to Colorado as well, where people can just access casinos on their phone. I just think it's going to be even more and more of a problem for young adults who may be more prone to addiction. They may just have time on their hands. They just may not know the negative consequences that can come with gambling.
And then can you kind of talk about too the community aspect of gambling, especially for young men? Why are they, do you think it's
Yeah, I absolutely think they're drawn to the community. You see it even on formerly Twitter, the X now. There's a huge gambling community. They post all the time huge wins and stuff, because they never post their losses, their many losses is that impact. But it is it is a strong community where people can meet friends and connections. People join from those posts. There's people that run businesses that are you pay anywhere from $30 to $100 a month, and they promise you parlays that like we will will help you win the money. We'll do the research. You just go in and then you join those. You're involved with a group, and it's just like a almost like what I experienced growing up, like a chat room of different people gambling, posting their bets, talking about it, celebrating together, and yeah, there's tons of people or businesses that are kind of run that model and are all throughout like online. I just also think like there's that connection even on campus, like in person, the amount of people that are betting. Hear so much from college students. Like I know a guy, I have a friend, and he always wins, and we can make money, and they treat it as like a investment. Like we're gonna pay off our tuition and stuff, and that's when it gets dangerous. You're no longer doing it for fun. You're doing it because you're eye on a prize. You're trying to get like a set amount of money to pay for fun or pay for tuition, pay for any cost of college. So.
Do you feel like it's gonna disproportionately affect guys more than girls because of that?
It depends on what game. Guys are more prone to sports betting for sure. The adrenaline that comes with that. We think we know more about sports. We think it's easier for us. Like I said, iGaming is been told it's in the works of being passed to legalize in Colorado. That is more prone for females because the casinos those types of games are more prone for females to get addicted to those types, and they're when it comes to like that gambling for those purposes or that services, they're just as likely to get hooked because they see the same thing, the free money, the fast money, the easy money. Like why go work a 9 to 5 if you can just go to the casino? So.
Right. And when would you say this? Was gambling always on your radar when you started, coming out of school and working in clinics?
Not at all. No, not at all. Because I'm old. I came out of school in 2011, 2013, somewhere around then. This is all before sports betting. So if you wanted to make a bet on the Broncos, you would have to go to a casino. So I wasn't even in Colorado, so the closest casino I had was Vegas. So if you wanted to make a sports bet, you could had to go online. Actually, take that back. There was internet was starting to get the websites up where all these like offshore gambling accounts were coming up. However, I didn't know that they existed at the time. So when I made bets, it would just be like, hey, $5 against my friends, and didn't have the access to or didn't have the knowledge that there's these sites you can visit offshore, and those sites get pretty dangerous because they don't always pay out people that win. There's nothing backing them like FanDuel, DraftKings, as addicting as they are, they're still backed by commissions that monitor them and make sure they're paying out, and so they have guidelines and rules. So I didn't get interested in gambling and trading it until I just met with a couple of students that were reporting like how much they were betting and how much it was struggling, and did a little research at the same time. The Colorado Gaming Problem Gambling for Colorado Coalition was doing a presentation at CU, and they just said, hey, anyone interested in learning about this and becoming a mental health professional to help treat this problem, contact us. We have scholarships to like cover your training and cover your exam, and we want more trainers or more mental health providers to be trained in this, and we're paying for it. So that's when I contacted them and started getting involved. So that was like I think like about 3 years ago.
And that was from a grant that they received, right?
Yeah.
What is that grant?
I'm not sure exactly who the grant is, but they do receive different grants from, whether it's like Colorado Lottery, whether it's FanDuel accounts, because high winnings are very like high. Like when you win a lot of money, you're instantly taxed. Like before you even get your money, they have you fill out the right appropriate tax forms. Some people, when they're gambling on like FanDuel, they're only we're only dealing with like anywhere from like $50 to like $300, and so it kind of will go under the radar of like taxable income. They just don't report it. and then IRS isn't chasing that low amounts, but bigger amounts is taxable, and so like Colorado has when they legalized gambling in 2020, they also set up part of the getting it in the hands of the voters was like having a set amount for treating problem of gambling. And
okay. And do they get that is that a grant that they'll get every year, or is it kind of just year to year?
that's a good question. I'm not entirely sure. I think they have to keep applying for it.
Right. Okay. And let's see here. What is your training or experience indicated has been like the biggest issue with the current gambling landscape? Is it the easy access?
Mm-hmm.
Is it?
Yeah, I think the biggest issue that I've run into is working with this population. This is the college age young population. They are getting into the stage of change where they're really like thinking like how what do I need to do to change? You know, they're contemplating how much of a problem I actually have with gambling. Can I just turn it on and off, right? Like, what do I need to completely stop gambling, or do I just need to do what we call like harm reduction and limit it? And so a lot of college students, they're just not sure what they want to do yet. They haven't, like, not all of them have hit like rock bottom and to where they want to just swear it off. Because I always like use the quote, like, I'm not for or against gambling, I just want help for those that need it. So as a counselor, I meet the students where they're at, right? So if they come into here that they just want to do harm reduction, maybe set up some limits, maybe just like change their way they view gambling, to change like their relationship with gambling, we'll work on that. If I have someone that comes in and is like, I can't be gambling anymore, my family knows about it, my girlfriend knows about it, my partner knows about it, I need to completely stop, that's what we'll work on. So that's one of the big challenges, is just like students not knowing how bad they are addicted to gambling or where they're at, thinking they can, like I said, just easily flip it.
All right. And can you kind of talk about the difference between, you know, fantasy sports and
Mm-hmm.
regular sports gambling? Because fantasy sports apps that call them like Underdog and Prize Picks, they, you know, you can get in there at 19 or 18.
18, yeah. The difference is just the access, I think. So the big difference is they market it more as fantasy. So you're picking like a fantasy team. So traditional fantasy football is you draft a team and you kind of run with that team for the full regular season of footballs, right? So you have like 15 or 17 weeks of playing like this team. With the way it's ran for younger, for like you can play at 18, is you're paying it weekly. It's like weekly fantasy, so you're paying to like draft a whole new team every week, which a lot of people like that, because if your fantasy, my fantasy teams has been definitely impacted by injuries this year, so I'm just like frustrated and ready to kick it to the curb and be done, ready for next season. People that play the daily fantasy, the weekly fantasy, they get a new team every week, but a lot of them, to play these, you are buying into a pool, and whatever the pool costs, it could be anywhere from a $10 entry fee to, the highest I think I've seen is like $500, but it could be more, where you're just betting on your team that you drafted to beat the other teams that other people were drafted in. At the end of the day, you have no control either way, whether it's betting on FanDuel's, betting on the Broncos to cover the spread. All of this is out of our control. So